The City of Ramsey proposes to reconstruct Tiger Street in 2021. This project is identified as Improvement Project number 21-02. Please follow this public information presentation to gather more information about the project. During this presentation, we will give a brief introduction to the City of Ramsey engineering staff. We will review the purpose of this reconstruction project and the scope of the project. We will review the existing conditions of Tiger Street and the proposed improvements associated with this reconstruction project. We will review the estimated project costs as well as the project funding sources. Please know that properties will not be assessed for these improvements. Finally, we will go over the preliminary project schedule. My name is Joe Ferrianchek. I'm the design engineer for the Tiger Street reconstruction project. The engineering division is made up of 6 full-time staff members. Our offices are located on the second floor of City Hall. Our staff includes city engineer Bruce Westby, civil engineers Leonard Linton and myself, field construction inspectors Aaron Madsen and Logan Check, and administrative assistant Marcia Widener. Tiger Street is identified in the 2021 through 2030 Capital Improvement Program, CIP for short, as a reconstruction project in 2021. The CIP is a budgeting tool used by the city to help forecast expenditures, and City Council authorization is required before a project can move forward. Many factors were used to determine which of the 180 miles of city streets to reconstruct. The main factors include the age, condition, and estimated costs of repairs for the street. Tiger Street was built in 1991, making it now 30 years old. When built, it wasn't constructed to current design standards the city uses today, and it has reached the end of its useful life. The pavement is in poor condition, considered to be in as poor condition as any other street in the city. The result has been significant patching being completed on this street, which is a short-term fix that cannot address the structural issues with the pavement. The condition of Tiger Street has gone beyond the scope where overlaying the pavement is an option and reconstruction of the street is required. This project will reconstruct Tiger Street between Armstrong Boulevard and 173rd Avenue, which is approximately 0.43 miles in length. The work is anticipated to stay on Tiger Street itself, other than tying into existing driveways and yards, due to work associated with pavement removals. Improvements will remain within the city-owned right-of-ways. The right-of-way varies from 66 to 80 feet wide, and though the pavement is generally centered, it does meander somewhat along the length of the project. Tiger Street was constructed in 1991 as a 24-foot wide rural section street. Stormwater is directed to drainage swales on both sides of the street, which carry runoff to low points near 170th and 171st Avenues. Ground penetrating radar, GPR, was performed on the street. GPR takes a reading of the ground at 1-foot intervals and can determine the thickness of bituminous pavement and aggregate base. GPR results found an average of 2.5 inches of bituminous pavement and 3.3 inches of aggregate base on Tiger Street. No public utilities exist in the project area. On an annual basis, city staff reviews every street segment of the city using the Pavement and Surface Evaluation Rating. The rating scale is from 0 to 10, with 10 being a new pavement. Tiger Street received a rating of 2, which is the lowest rating given to any street within the city. The pavement received seal coat improvements in 1997 and 2004, and a pavement overlay in 2006. Since that time, the only maintenance performed on Tiger Street has been pavement patching. The existing conditions pictures were taken in the fall of 2020. This picture was taken on Tiger Street at Armstrong Boulevard, facing northeast. Though the lines are faded, we can see the additional protected turn lane for movements onto Armstrong Boulevard. The road has quite a bit of exposed aggregate, and the darker pavement sections are the results of spray patching. This picture was taken on Tiger Street, north of 170th Court, and is facing south towards Armstrong Boulevard. The road has severe alligator cracking and has received several pothole patches as well as spray patching. This picture was taken on Tiger Street at 170th Avenue, facing north. We can see exposed aggregate, which leads to potholes. The darker areas are spray patching, and we can see to the north much of the road surface has been patched in recent years. This picture was taken on Tiger Street, south of 171st Avenue, facing north towards 173rd Avenue. The road has received spray patching almost across the entire width in this section of Tiger Street. Though the spray patching covers the potholes, this level of patching is an indication that the road does not have much longer before it is essentially rubbleized, and reconstruction is needed in the near future. This picture was taken on 173rd Avenue, facing south towards Tiger Street. This is the north end of the proposed improvements. This project proposes to reconstruct Tiger Street back to the existing width, 24 feet, and generally to the same elevation. During design, staff reviews the profile of the street and confirms it meets vertical and horizontal curve design requirements, which are based off stopping sight distance. From field review, it is not expected modifications to the existing profile will be necessary. The project will also match the existing turn lane configuration at Armstrong Boulevard. The goal of all City of Ramsey reconstruction projects is to leave the existing driveways in as good or better condition than before the project started. We will have to remove and replace the bottom of the driveways within the right-of-way to properly match into the new bituminous pavement. Our policy is to match the existing material. If it's bituminous, we put back bituminous, concrete gets replaced with concrete, and gravel gets replaced with gravel. We also do our best to match the existing grade of the driveway as to not create hinge points where the connection is made. During the project, we will give advance notice of when driveways will be removed and replaced so you can plan accordingly. If you have a concrete driveway, please be aware concrete requires 5 to 7 days to build strength before it can be driven on. During the project, you will always have, at a minimum, walk-on access to your property at the end of the workday, but for the majority of the project, you will have drive access as well. The project does not propose to add concrete curb and gutter, but will maintain the existing rural section. Staff will review the drainage swales during design, but we are not aware of any drainage concerns with the existing swales and do not plan to make adjustments unless design review indicates an issue. The geotechnical report staff received this fall indicated small amounts of topsoil materials directly below the pavement section in 3 of the 10 soil borings taken for the report. Though the topsoil layer was found to be 6 inches thick or less, it's critical to not have organic soils within the top 3 feet of subsoils below the pavement section, since they will settle at different rates than the surrounding base materials and are more susceptible to frost heave. Due to this, some minor subgrade corrections will be required, though the extent will not be known until the pavement section has been removed. The anticipated build process will be to remove the existing pavement, aggregate base, and subgrade materials as needed. City staff prefers the bituminous pavement and aggregate base are reclaimed, ground in place, stockpiled, and reused as the new aggregate base, as this reduces trucking and mining operations. It should be noted, however, that generally, whichever contractor is awarded the contract will have control over how they remove the pavement. Giving the contractor some flexibility tends to bring in better bids. Following the removal of the pavement, aggregate, and excavation of any subgrade materials, the subgrade will be shaped and compacted in preparation for the new aggregate base. In 2020, staff conducted 2 traffic counts on Tiger Street and found an average daily traffic count of 500 vehicles. Since only 9 properties have direct access to Tiger Street, these counts confirm Tiger Street is being used as a collector street and is a good candidate candidate for future municipal state aid system inclusion. To be considered an MSA street, it must meet MSA design structural requirements set by MnDOT. Other factors, such as it being a collector street and the required subgrade removals, make staff recommend placing a 10-inch pavement section, which includes 6 inches of aggregate base and 4 inches of new bituminous pavement. The thicker section will not have an impact on the top surface elevation of the street, which is still proposed to generally match existing. Staff is proposing to have an alternative bid for the standard neighborhood design, which includes 4 inches of aggregate base and 3.5 inches of new bituminous pavement. City Council will be able to discuss which design to use based off of known bid costs. For reference, the existing pavement section includes 3.3 inches of aggregate base and 2.5 inches of bituminous pavement, so either design will improve the structural capacity of Tiger Street. The design is expected to have a 60-year design life with proactive maintenance. During preliminary design, staff estimated project costs to be $380,000. This includes 10% contingency costs and 23% indirect costs. Indirect costs include administration, engineering, finance, and legal costs associated with the project. The project is proposed to be funded with a combination of pavement management funds and stormwater utility funds. There will be no assessments associated with this project. After much discussion, the City Council has adopted ordinances implementing franchise fees for gas and electric services. These fees are collected by the private utility companies and are dedicated to the Pavement Management Fund. Legally, these funds can only be used for pavement overlays and reconstruction projects. Of the $380,000 estimated for the entire project, $360,000 will be funded through the Pavement Management Fund. The remaining $20,000 will be funded through the Stormwater Utility Fund and is for activities such as replacing culverts. So far, this project has been in front of City Council twice. On December 8th, City Council accepted proposals for a geotechnical report and a separate proposal for a topographic survey of the project area. Both are necessary for project design. On January 12, 2021, City Council ordered plans and specifications for the Tiger Street Reconstruction project. Staff plans to bring the final plans and specifications to City Council on March 9th for approval and authorization to advertise for bid. In the interim, staff asked impacted residents to reach out with any concerns about the project and to inform us of any specific requests they have for us to incorporate into the design. Staff plans to receive bids on April 6th, and assuming good bids are received, will bring the lowest responsible bid to City Council for consideration to award a contract for the improvements. This schedule could allow the construction to begin around early June of 2021. Staff will require, by contract, the project be substantially complete by late August of 2021, with final completion in September of 2021. Residents should be aware that the city can only control when contractors are given authorization to proceed and the substantial and final completion dates are met, with penalties to the contractor for not meeting deadlines. The contractor has the flexibility within the start and finish dates to proceed on the project at their pace, though once they begin construction, they must continually work towards completion. Weather can also play a key role in the progress of a construction project. Thank you for following this informational presentation for the 2021 Tiger Street Reconstruction Project. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me by email or phone. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I am currently working remotely, and email is the preferred method of contact and will typically receive the quickest response.